What's up, everybody? This is Colin from Holistic Heritage Homestead. I hope you're all well. I want to teach you folks how to maximize your growing spaces, how to use your spaces wisely. I'm going to talk about why you should do this. I'm going to give you specific plants that I recommend, okay? And I'm going to provide some different ideas that will work for people that live in different situations, have different amounts of space available. So please watch the full video. I don't want you to miss anything. I'm going to get right into it. So here we have one of our Meyer lemon trees growing, and I've pruned this heavily, but it came back strong. And there is lots of real estate at the bottom that can be used for growing. So one of the benefits of using up all your space is obviously you're maximizing your yields and you're using your space wisely. Another benefit is when you grow things at the base of certain things like trees, bushes, more woody plants, what you're doing is you're providing a living mulch. Having other things growing is actually covering the soil. Your microbiology will thrive way better than if the soil was bare. You're also holding in moisture. That's right. So anytime you cover the surface, like with mulch, for example, okay, and also plants, living mulch, you're preventing or limiting rather evaporation. So you hold more moisture in the soil where it belongs. You're also getting the benefit of biodiversity. Biodiversity is helpful to minimize pest pressure issues, folks. If you're growing, think of monocrops, big agriculture. They grow acres and acres of one thing. If they have any infestation whatsoever, it is likely that the infestation will get even worse and that it will take over because they're simply jumping from crop to crop. When you have biodiversity, some different things happen. One, it confuses with sight and smell different pests. So they don't know what's going on. They don't know what's growing on, folks, and they get confused. They don't know where to go and what to do. They haven't found a gold mine of a whole bunch of one crop that they want to eat in a particular place. So biodiversity is great for pest issues. Biodiversity is also great for nature. We grow organically, and we don't mind if nature takes a little piece of what we grow. 10%, 15%, it's all good. We are growing more than just for our family. We're growing for nature as well. So that biodiversity is great for the environment, great for ecosystems, and the biodiversity is actually great for your soil microbiology. Soil microbiology, different types thrive in different situations. So you want to have a diversity of things growing, and when you have that packed in and diversity packed into small areas, the root exudates, the sugars that they release are beneficial to the soil microbiology. And when you benefit the soil microbiology, they in turn organic matter and different things into bioavailable nutrients for your plants. So biodiversity is key. That's one of the benefits of growing things, packing them in your containers, in ground, wherever, okay? And also besides, using your space better, right? Everybody's got limited space, folks. And some of us more than others, we're more limited than others. Some people live in urban or suburban situations. And this video is going to be amazing for you because you've got limited space and you've got to really make things happen with what you've got. Have no fear. I'm here to help you, okay? So holding in that moisture, very, very important, okay? Also, when you plant certain things like legumes, certain peas, certain beans, certain things, they can actually release nitrogen into the soil. So besides the exudates, they release nitrogen into the soil, it gets fixed, and if you harvest them in time before and or during the flowering stages, you can actually, that nitrogen can become bioavailable in the soil and or the nitrogen itself above the surface in the form of leaves and whatnot, you can chop and drop. So you've got chop and drop material as well. There's another reason, okay, besides that living mulch. Now, what are some things you should be growing around your bigger plants like your trees, your bushes, your woody plants, okay? What are some things? Well, number one, lettuce is an excellent option. Lettuce grows relatively quickly. and it has relatively shallow roots. So adding on to lettuce, leafy greens, anything that has a shallow root is really, really great because it's not going to compete as much for nutrients. Folks, I'm going to say something that a lot of people might disagree with. And this comes from my personal experience, our personal experience rather. Competing for nutrition is only a problem when there's a scarcity of nutrients. If you're fertilizing well, naturally, organically, obviously, if you're fertilizing well, then you'll have more than enough nutrients to go around for the most part, okay? Certain types of plants are known as what's called heavy feeders, and they're going to require more nutrients than other plants. But if you're giving your plants more than enough, it won't be a problem, okay? As far as the root entanglement, root competition, when you're growing, okay, far enough away from the base of the plant, like here, we've got a few inches at least, I'd say a minimum for most or all of these of 2 to 3 inches from the base. I think the closest is about maybe 3 inches away, but most of them are 4, 5, 6, 7 inches away, okay? So that's not really a problem. There's no root competition, or very little or no root competition, okay? They're holding moisture in the soil. They're giving us biodiversity. We're maximizing the use of our space for having better yields, okay? And the list keeps going. So shallow roots, and do not plant too close to your tree or whatever you're growing around, okay? This works for in-ground as well, not just container gardening. There's a weed there. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna let it grow, and I'm gonna pull it out at some point and drop it in place. Let that feed the soil in the future, right? So those roots in the soil, beneficial. So different things that have shallow roots are excellent. Leafy greens, different types of lettuce, excellent options. And things like that, you can cut and come again. Lettuce, harvest, if you harvest it correctly, the outer leaves, right? Or chop only portions of it. Some of those things will continue to grow. Actually, many of them, you can come back and harvest in succession. Pretty cool. Other things, fast growing plants. Now, I might not want things, or might not be able to have things growing year round in this. This is a citrus tree, Meyer lemon tree, folks. We bring this indoors. We live in Missouri. We're in zone 7A. But what we do is we grow things throughout the warmer seasons, okay? Spring, summer, early fall, mid-fall. And then we put this thing to bed, bring it indoors, and it's fine for the rest of the season. If you have a great grow light setup, you could continue growing stuff year-round indoors, okay? Fast-producing things like radishes, that's another great option. Now, radishes, they produce very quickly, folks. We have radishes growing here, and they're thriving, okay? We have sugar snap peas. That's one of our family's favorites to grow. And what's really cool is, here's a bonus. The tree or the woody structure, the woody plant can provide a natural trellis. Some people are spending money when the plants themselves can be a trellis. Wow, amazing. I know. So these sugar snap peas have already latched on, and they're already growing upwards. They can work their way all the way up this tree. So the branches are your trellis. How cool is that, right? Okay. Broccoli rabe, right? Another great choice. Bok choy is another great choice. Leafy greens, salads, radishes, peas, snap peas, things like that are all excellent choices. Shallow roots, grow them far away enough, and things that grow quickly are all excellent options for you. You can also use this as a starter area. So what do I mean? You don't always have to use seed trays. Maybe you're limited in space. Again, people in urban, suburban situations, typically more limited than people in rural areas. Well, you've got space right here for seed starts. That's right. You can start some strawberries, whatever plant you want, okay? As long as you're timing it correctly. I would not recommend planting things with deep tap roots like root crops and things like that, okay? Things like carrots are typically best planted in place, directly sown, or transplanted very early, okay? Early in their life cycle, okay? But what you can do is definitely start things like that in here, okay? You can start most things that you can that do well with transplanting. I'll be clear. Things that transplant well, you can use that space. Maybe you've got all your seed starters full. Maybe you don't have the money to buy more seed starting trays. Well, you have some area in your pots, your containers, boom, there's your seed starting place right there. Start some seeds, maximize your harvest, create a living mulch, biodiversity, okay? Material for chop and drop. You have a trellis in place for your climbing things, okay? There are so many benefits, folks, and hopefully you got some great ideas as far as what options to grow. So I think this looks great. It's beautiful, it's lush, and we're maximizing the use of our containers here. Let me know in the comments below if you do things like this. If you learned one thing from this video, give me a like. If you learned more than one thing, or you just feel like being kind today, subscribe to the channel, follow along as we move towards self-sufficiency. Take care, everybody.